Welcome to Tantra Lounge, Sex Talk Radio. Divine Kika is a radiant force, overflowing with positive energy, guiding you to a heart-opening, blissful, authentic tantric experience. This show will help you to expand your joy, cultivate more intimacy in your life, and rediscover the pleasure within your personal relationship. Dive in and discover untapped intimacy and true joy for yourself or with your beloved. Bring back the harmony and happiness that you long for. Let's begin an unforgettable journey that will leave an imprint on your heart and soul forever. Welcome to Tantra Lounge, Sex Talk Radio. Here's your host, Divine Kika.
Welcome to another edition of the Tantra Lounge. My name is Greg, and I'm here with the incomparable host of the show, the wonderful, the lovely Divine Kika. How are you, darling?
Hello.
It is so nice to be here with you today in a brighter studio for this particular show.
Yeah, today we got the orange color, second chakra. It's all about sexuality, that color.
Is that right? Orange?
Yeah.
Because this is called the mango studio. To me, this is more orange than mango.
Mango day.
I love mangoes, though, as a fruit. Remember when we had the show, we discussed the raw foods and the sensual foods? Mm-hmm. Mango, to me, is one of the most sensual.
Ooh, kissing with mango is delicious.
It's delicious.
It's my favorite kiss, actually.
Is that right?
Mango
a mango
kisses.
kiss.
Yeah,
I used to know a girl with that screen
right
name.
Mangoes lately. It's hard.
So I don't think it's in season, is it?
No, that's right.
I knew a girl who had a screen name, Mango Kiss. Now I know why. She probably loved it as well.
Yeah.
But anyway, so being in this room, it's opened our chakra, as you said. With so many things to talk about. But being that you're I would say, the outlet, the expert I turn to when I need advice, and you've taught us all so much, I thought today's show, I would bring up a very taboo subject when you're in a relationship, only because you don't, as a man, you don't necessarily know how to approach the hormonal cycle. And I know you did a video on this a while back, but it's so important, and I think there's so much to learn. Can we just delve into that a little bit today?
Yes. So let's talk about sex and blood.
Oh, I don't like when you say it like that. But
Those two words together already put they don't go together.
No, especially because it draws several thoughts, and I don't want to go there.
Blood alone.
Yeah.
If we think about blood alone, it's like it means so many different things, and
right.
It's like avoid.
Like vampires.
Yeah, or avoid. It's related to a loss or to something horrible happening.
Okay.
Right?
We don't want to go there in horrible things. What we want to talk about is how a man can achieve or maximize the relationship, and that 1 week out of a month, which is essentially a quarter of the month, is spent for a woman having to deal with her period, essentially, right? Is that right? Would you say? Roundabout.
For me, it's 3 days. For some women, it's 4 or 5.
So for a man, we have to deal with it for a week.
Long time.
You have to deal with the intro, the outro, the in between. So, first of all, where do we even begin with this? The menstruating cycle. Tell us how this relates to men, women, sexuality.
Greg, this is going to be a whole show.
Oh, God.
So this show is going to be about PMS, sex, and how can you have better sex throughout the woman's cycle.
Okay.
And how women can understand how to really take advantage of her hormonal cycle, of her whole being a woman, and what does it mean to bleed every month, and feel happier about it and come more into her power about it. And for men, how to understand, to cope with her and take advantage of understanding her cycle and have better sex through that, better relationship through that, because people go crazy.
And I think it's mostly because none of us paid attention in grammar school or in middle school when they started to teach us about all these things. I remember laughing every time they said any kind of word about, genitalia. I remember just put my head down and laughing. So I really wasn't listening to exactly what is happening to the body when this all is when a woman is going through her period.
So here is what's happening.
Talk to me.
We have an egg.
Yes.
The egg comes out every month.
Yes.
That's when we are ovulating. Eventually, the egg will melt down. That's it.
Melts down.
Yeah, can we say it in a very easy fashion?
That's easy.
Right?
Yeah.
So we have an egg. So if we think about an egg, there's no blood, there's nothing. So it's just the egg is going to melt, it's going to dissolve, and it's going to come out.
So it's the eggs that have...
I wish that was that simple.
I know, it isn't, is it? I was like, all right, we're done. We can go to...
Yeah, that's it. Why people make a big deal about it? Because it changes our emotions. Because it changes the way we feel. Mm-hmm. It changes the way we relate to life through that period. Because we have these hormones creating different sensations in our bodies.
Right.
Create different thoughts in our minds. Because we have different brain chemicals going. And then we go through a different way of feeling. How life feels in different times of the month. Mm-hmm.
And in different parts of the cycle, obviously, is when you are most potent, if you will, or you're most likely. If you're going to try and have children, you would do it in the second or third week, right? Somewhere in there is where you would most likely...
Well, when you're ovulating 3
yes.
days before and after the ovulation is the time that we have to be careful if we don't want to get pregnant.
Right.
Or if we want to get pregnant, those are the days. Now... if we think about how do we feel through those days, like what's going on in a woman's psyche and the people around there through her cycle, is the thing that most people don't understand. They just know about PMS. PMS is a big word out there. Oh, she's PMSing. Don't mess with her. When my wife is bleeding, no. Don't stay around. They go crazy. And then they all have that person that you work with that you know is that time of the month.
Stay away.
And I think it's interesting they say, is that time of the month referring as something bad?
Mm-hmm. When it's actually a good thing.
For me, it is. Like right now, I'm bleeding.
You are.
So let me say it again. I am bleeding. I am
you could have been kinder about it.
Telling people that I'm bleeding. You know why? Because my breasts are bigger. I'm more voluptuous.
You feel sexy.
I feel sexier. I feel fully in my power. I know as a goddess and as a priestess, this is where I'm in my highest power. Mm-hmm. Now, most women do not understand that.
They think of it as a weak period, don't they?
Yeah, because we do need to care more for ourselves at this time. Mm-hmm. So let's say yesterday I woke up feeling weak, like because I'm bleeding. Right. Because I'm losing some blood, and I always think that we lose some of our chi through our period, and we do lose some. Okay. So we're a little more sensitive. We need to nurture ourselves better, eat better, take better care.
More emotional as well, correct?
Yeah, more sensitive.
You might cry at a movie that you might not cry.
Yeah, and sensitivity is a beautiful thing.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
You know, because in the world that we live right now, we kind of lost some of our sensitivity. Or even as a woman, I think a lot of us women lost our femininity as well.
How so? What do you mean by that?
Because we have to wear pants and go out and work and conquer, like, you know.
Equal.
And then that equal is not equal.
Okay.
Because we're still feminine creatures. We still need to have our delicate, feminine, quiet, reserved time. Right. Doesn't mean we are not powerful. We are very powerful creatures. Mm-hmm. We're very powerful. If not, maybe sometimes overpowering, and we have to be careful with that. Yeah. But I appreciate being a woman, and I love being a woman, and I love my femininity, and I'm very careful of not losing it. Right. Because everywhere in this society today is telling me to become more masculine.
So it's a balance, really, trying to be an empowered woman, somebody who's trying to succeed at the same level as any man, but also still trying to be sensual, trying to be a lady, and
and surrender to love every now and then. If we don't lose, I don't want to lose my ability to surrender to love, to feel deeply, to love deeply, to be there fully 100%.
And do you think this also, because have you heard, I'm sure you have, how in some cases people who are very powerful, like, CEO of a company or whatever, they tend to be more submissive in the bedroom. It's almost because they're in real life.
The whole thing.
Is that right? Do you find that to be sometimes?
That's interesting that a lot of men that have a lot of power, they like to be overpowered sexually, so they can find more pleasure because they're in so much power that they don't feel like. But that's more like everybody likes something different, right? Okay, we like different plays, and sometimes I think in sexuality it feels good to be taken.
Yeah, let go.
Like, take me. I have those days that I want to be taken. Right. Everybody does, and even for a man to surrender into his own sexuality and be taken. Sometimes it can feel very pleasurable.
Just take pleasure instead of giving them pleasure for a change. Right.
Yeah, and it's a very hard place for men to be. Mm-hmm. To lose control in bed.
Yeah, it's definitely it's tricky because you also want to be sensitive enough and in touch with that femininity in yourself, because every guy has a touch of it, whether it's, you know, big, small, there's somewhere in there you have that sensitive gene, but you don't know how to explore it without sacrificing your manhood, if you will. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Your masculinity. It's
Yeah.
very tough. So I guess this all kind of plays into this subject today.
There's got to be a balance. I think we need to balance our energy.
Yeah.
The feminine and the masculine energy needs to balance.
Mm-hmm.
And then today we don't know what is a healthy masculine and a healthy feminine.
Yeah.
And I would like to do a whole show about that.
That's a
It's
good topic.
Subject to talk
But
about.
so
Let's go
we'll
back to
circle
PMS.
back. So in the midst of all of this, during the cycle, you are at your most, your hunger for sex most while you're ovulating. Is that correct? Is that because it's the middle?
The woman wants more sex when she's ovulating for sure. She's
right.
gonna go for
it's
it.
a primal instinct.
But a
almost.
little bit before she has her period, a day or two, guys, take note of this.
Yes.
A day or two before she's having her period, she's gonna go wild.
Right.
And she's probably gonna fight you to get there.
Yeah.
She's not gonna let you because she's mad. She's thinking about all the things that she doesn't like about you at that point.
Is that right? 2
And
days
why
before
she
the
wants
period?
to get rid of you.
Stay away. Is that really what happens?
So let me explain the cycle.
Please.
So it's gonna be. Do you want to go on a journey with me?
I wanna
on
go on a
woman's
journey.
Belly and all
Please.
that's happening.
Yes.
Welcome to Tantra Lounge.
Sex Talk Radio.
Divine Kika is a radiant force, overflowing with positive energy, guiding you to a heart-opening, blissful, authentic, tantric experience. This show will help you to expand your joy, cultivate more intimacy in your life, and rediscover the pleasure within your personal relationships. A lot of people have questions out there about Tantra. I think there's a lot of misconceptions, would you say? Some misunderstandings about what it's all about?
Yeah. When I say I'm a Tantra teacher, people look at me like I wish I could show you their faces. They have these big eyes and like a little, and excitement. It's like a little bit of fear and a little bit of nervous. And they look with these big eyes and a big smile because a big part of them is really curious about what it is.
Of course.
But then there is a little bit fear. So it all means excitement.
I think so. It's a stimulating topic.
Tantra is a path like Zen or yoga that uses sexuality as a door to awareness.
That's right.
And then Tantra is also choosing with awareness what brings us joy. Now, if we're expanding that, like what is really be conscious enough, knowing oneself enough, knowing your surroundings, knowing what your deepest desires, fears, emotions, and send that into how can I bring more joy into my life? And from that joy, expand throughout all those around me.
Absolutely. I think that when it comes to Tantra and sex, it's such a hot topic. Of course, people are interested in it. Of course, they want to hear about it. They want to talk about it. But really, it's just scratching the surface of it. Although sexuality is very much embraced in Tantra, it is really not the primary focus or point.
So we go through this journey. Like we start on the first day, we start bleeding.
Mm-hmm.
So the egg's starting to dissolve and it melts down.
Okay.
So we're sensitive. Our uterus is a little bit down, a little bit lower, and we're bleeding.
Mm-hmm.
Our sensitivity is way up. Our hormones are up. We feel a little more tired. We have a little less energy.
Okay.
Yet we are, as a priestess, as a woman, like if we do any prayer or any intention that we send out to the universe, like anything that we really want to manifest and create at that time, we have so much power.
Mm-hmm.
There's an energy there's a force within us that we can go and get what we want to.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, we're very sensitive. And it's interesting because in the traditional shamanic, like the sweat lodge, they wouldn't let a woman go in if she was with her period.
Really?
Because she would draw in the power from the whole thing.
In a sweat lodge?
Yeah, like the ceremonies.
Okay.
A woman in the period, they could not go into the ceremonies for Native Indians.
I didn't know
because
that.
they thought that the woman would be too powerful and she would draw the energy to her.